What's going on, everyone? My name is Wheeler. Welcome to Wheeler's Minis, and today we are doing another episode of Brick by Brick, where we go over the newest WizKid sets that are coming out for D&D. This one is Seas and Shores. I'm super excited for the brick. I'm super excited to see what we get, and yeah, should be a good one. So sit back, relax, and welcome to Brick by Brick. All right, so as the name suggests, this is going to be very coastal and maritime themed minis, which I'm super excited about because, well, we got some when they released Salt Marsh. We didn't get a lot, and again, sets like these are just kind of getting the monster manual and Monsters of the Multiverse just filled out, so people have minis for it, just in case they want them. But I am super excited about this set, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Welcome in. Thank you for joining. Let me know at the end of the video what your favorite mini is. Format is, I just go box by box. We do all the mediums and smalls first, and then in this case, the large last for each box set. Duplicates, we just go over really quickly. You'll see videos of the minis up on the screen as soon as I tell you what they are. And at the end, I will do best paint job, worst paint job, most useful, least useful, and just what I'm excited to possibly make an encounter around. So, that's the layout. I hope you enjoy. Let's get to box one. Now, unlike the previous set, which had huge minis, this has large minis in it. So we're not going to be getting something super crazy. We are starting off pretty strong though. So let's go ahead and get these mediums. Ooh, interesting. All right, we'll start with the smallest of them, which is number 3 of 48, Lokotha. I have another one of these. It's just missing the headpiece, which is really funny, from a different set that came out. The paint job's pretty decent on it. There is a bit of a splotch underneath its like chin, but for a simple paint job, it's not horrible. It's pretty decently well done. I don't know a lot about Lokotha, but they are like kind of Kuatoa-esque, where they have that kind of fish hybrid, but I think they're more good aligned than Kuatoa. Just a really cool mini. It's a common, so we might see a few of these in the box or the brick that we are opening. But yeah, really good start to the set. And not too bad on the paint job. So that's number 3 of 48, the Lokotha. All right, next up we have number 13 of 48, the Sword Wraith Warrior. I love Sword Wraiths. I think they're really cool. If you're looking for something that's an undead that has a little bit more of a arsenal of things that it can do, definitely look up Sword Wraiths. There were a few of these that have already come out in other sets, and as I've said in all of my previous videos for opening bricks, I love translucent plastic. I love what they've been doing with it. It looks really cool. One of the other ones that they had like a little bit of a red interior. This one just looks like, you know, pretty straight translucent teal blue, but it's not bad. There's a little bit of shading on it, which is nice to give it kind of a bit of depth. It's got a good pose, just kind of a standard, you know, sword at the side pose with the cape moving a little bit with the wind as well as the hair. And yeah, just a great addition. Again, if you already have minis of these kind, having something that's a different look, especially if you have a bigger party that you have to throw a bunch of monsters at, having them look differently will help you as a DM differentiate between the ones during your encounter. So yeah, really cool mini. Glad to have another one because they can be used as ghosts or as what they are. And yeah, so it's number 13 of 48, the Sword Wraith Warrior. All right, last medium of this box, we have number 23 of 48, the Hydroloth. Now, Hydroloths, I do not know a lot about. I know more about other Yugoloths like Arcanoloths and things of that nature. But basically they're all really weird, fiendish like creatures who have different abilities. This one most likely has something to do with water, much like Jinn and like being a Merid or an Ifrit or a Genie have different elements attached to them. Most of these fiends also have some kind of thing attached to them that makes them extra oomphy. The paint job on it's pretty well done. I like the eyes. The eyes look really, really good. It's got that kind of like frog amphibian like eye to it. The mouth is really well done. You can see really good detail on the teeth. And yeah, it's just the benefit of some things like this is sometimes messy ends up looking really, really, really good. So, a really, really cool mini. I don't really know, like I said, too much about Hydroloths. If you want to comment below and let me know more about them, or if you've run them in an encounter, please let me know, because I love the Aloths, Canoloths, Arcanoloths, Yugoloths, things of that sort. So, really, really cool. And a great addition. Number 23 of 48. The Hydroloth. Which is really interesting. We got number 3 of 48, number 13 of 48, and then number 23 of 48. Huh. Makes you think. We're breaking that line, though. Sorry about the noise. For our large of this set, which is one off the most rare, and it's number 47 of 48, the Aboleth. Now I have an Aboleth mini from the Critical Role mini set that came out, but I do not have like a standard Aboleth. They are a creature that I would love to run soon. They're terrifying. If you've read their stat block before, they're aberrations, much like beholders, but they tend to find their homes in subterranean lakes and things of that sort. And basically enthrall by mucus, psychic mucus thing. It's really weird. But they're really, really cool creatures. And I've always wanted to run one. So having a mini of it now kind of gives me a little bit of an extra bump on, you know, actually running one. Paint job's decent. I would have liked to see a little bit more done with the eyes. And for a rare, the paint job is definitely not as good as I would like it to be. But it's not bad. And yeah, it's cool. It's nice. And definitely will get used at my table at some point for a one-shot or for a longer-term campaign. We'll see. But that's number 47 of 48, the Aboleth. And our first large and our first box complete. So, the other thing is I try to make sure that I go from lightest to heaviest on boxes. I like to do the heaviest boxes last because usually those are the minis that are the biggest, and that's usually what people are looking for. So we'll have to see what we get. This one's got a pretty cool large, but we'll get to that shortly. First and foremost, though, let's get through these mediums and smalls. We'll go to the smallest first and then work our way up. Which they're all pretty similarly sized. So we'll start with this guy. Work our way from there. So we've got number 1 of 48, your bog standard pirate. Again, like what I said in the Big B's video, if you watch that, having things that are commons that are useful are really, really, really nice, because this could just be an NPC. It doesn't have to be a pirate. Or it could be something else that's not a pirate. It could be if you have like a half-elven, dark-haired, sword-wielding NPC or monster or creature that you're throwing at your party, like this could be used for that. The paint job is pretty well done. And the pose is really nice. Again, the fact that this is number 1 means it's the most common. There's not really a most common, but it is the first of the set, which usually means that there are going to be multiples of them if you get a case or a brick or what have you. But a really, really good common to have. Like I said, great for NPCs, great for what they are, great as just set dressing on a pirate ship if you've got something going on in your adventure that's like that. So yeah, number 1 of 48, just your good old-fashioned pirate. Do this one next. All right, we've got number 6 of 48, a Sahagin, or Sahuagin, however you want to say it. I say Sahagin because I think that's how it goes. Paint job is all right. It's definitely, you know, it looks like it was, you know, paint by the numbers. There isn't a lot of detail done to it. The eyes are decent. Again, another common, but another common that's really good. There are not enough of Sahuagins or Sahagins in the sets that have come out recently, and I feel like they're one of the main monsters in the monster manual that you can throw at a party that's going into underwater areas or coastal areas or has some kind of coastal campaign. So it's good to see that there's another one. I like the spear. It's a bit long coming off the back, but you know, maybe that's for swinging purposes like Bokoblins and Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, where they just swing it around. But yeah, really well done. Another great comment. I hope I get a couple of these because who knows, might throw it at my party at some point or another. But it's number 6 of 48, the Sahagin, however you want to say it. All right, last medium of this set, or this box, sorry, I should say, is number 40 of 48, the Turtle Druid. Love turtles, first and foremost. Paint job is pretty well done on this. I like the water effect that it's using. It's, you know, very Master Oogway coded, but I love turtles. One of my favorite characters I ever played was a turtle. And another one of those things where they're becoming more and more common as player characters and things of that sort. So definitely something to look into this set if you are not a painter or want to, you know, just pick up a specific D&D mini for your character. Also great as an NPC. It's an uncommon or rare, but I'm glad that I got it because, like I said, I love turtles. I want to throw them into places more, but don't really have the minis for it until now. So great mini. Would have liked a little bit more depth of color in the paint job, but I can't hark too much on things like that because they are mass produced. So really, really good otherwise, and super excited to have. And that's number 40 of 48, the Turtle Druid. All right, the large for this box is number 33 of 48, a Wastrolith. Don't know much about these either. They are probably within that same Illith. They actually might be a demon, like a Merilith, but a serpent underwater type creature. The paint job's pretty well done. One of the things I notice a lot with colors for seaborne things are like teals and very like magenta pinks, probably to match the coral that they're around more often than not. I love the hooks for hands. The fins look really, really nice. And yeah, this is I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'll have to look more into the specifics of this creature. And it might be in contention for most excited to use because, again, when I don't know what a creature is and I get a mini for it, I read into it and then I figure out a way to put it into my games. So that is number 33 of 48, the Wastrolith. The eyes and the mouth are really well done too. But yeah, just a really cool mini. All right, on to box number 3. Haven't gotten a duplicate yet, but knowing me as I say that, it's probably going to jinx it and I'll get one in this box. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying the video and you enjoy the content, please leave a like and comment and subscribe if you can. I really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. And it really, really would be appreciated. So yeah, the large of the set fell off of its base. So I'm going to have to pop it up now, put it back on its base. Let's get through the smalls, of which there are quite a few in this set. Oh, love it. cool. We'll start with this guy. We've got number 7 of 48, a giant crab. And boy, does he look like a crab. The paint job's actually pretty well done. Growing up in Florida, I see a lot of crabs when we used to go to the beach. And this looks like a crab, which is nice. It's not just like an orange. It's got some shade on it. Crabs tend to be a little dirty because they like to sit and wait for their food sometimes, but they also just pick things off of out of like kelp and off of reefs and things like that. So most of the time they're not going to be super pristine and clean, but based off the size of this, I was like, oh, it's just a regular crab. No, this is definitely giant compared to the other sizes. But yeah, it's really, really well done. I like the paint job on it. The look of it definitely lets you know right away that it's a crab, and it's also a common, which is nice because it means you might get a few of these in your cases and or bricks. So really, really cool mini. Another great beast that could be used as a wild shape or things like that. But yeah, really, really cool. So it's number 7 of 48, the giant crab. All right, next up, we've got number 11 of 48, just a druid. Paint job is pretty good. Very well done on the details. The face is not super weird, which tends to come with minis like this. The color scheme is different than most druids, which is really nice. It's not just all greens, at least from what I can tell, but I'm kind of colorblind, so honestly don't listen to me fully. But I mean, it looks really good. Again, great use for an NPC or for a character that's fighting the party or for a character in your party, and still within the common range. So definitely a cool addition to the horde that is currently growing in my armoire. Yeah, I feel like just regular player characters of classes are really underutilized and undermade by WizKids, and I'm glad to see that they're starting to put more interest into making things like this that are diversified and not just your bog standard like, oh, dragonborn sorcerer, here you go. Like, they've started putting into minis different races and different like amalgamations of things, which is kind of what makes D&D great. So again, a really, really good mini, really cool, great addition to my massive amount of minis that I have. And number 11 of 48, your druid, you're just bog standard druid. Really excited for this next one, because I love these creatures. If you know me, I will put these creatures into my game even when they don't make sense because I love them so much. But number 17 of 48, we have a sea hag. Not specifically a sea hag, but hags in general I love. And I actually have a few sea hag minis, which is nice, which means I can make a coven of sea hags as an encounter. And that's so exciting. Because I love torturing my players with crazy, weird, zany magic and things like that hags are known for. The paint job is decent. It's not horrible. It's kind of hard to mess up something that's supposed to look dirty and kelpy and like it is a sea witch and it just came out of like the depths of a really murky area of the ocean. But it's still really well done. I like the weird like position that it's in that kind of leans into that hag weirdness and crone-like aspect. But a really, really cool mini. I like the kelp skirt and like the kelp going down the leg and things like that. Like the just small things that like add to minis that don't necessarily have to be enhanced by a paint job, but can be just really well done on the mini itself. So excited to have another one of these in my collection with a different pose, so that way I can tell the difference between the three. And that's number 17 of 48, the Sea Hag. All right, the large for this box fell off of its base. I'll have to re-glue it, but it's number 31 of 48, a giant lizard. And yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's just a giant lizard. Paint job's really, really well done. The eyes are just yellow. I wish there was like a little bit of a slit on those, but other than that, the paint job is pretty well done. As someone who owns reptiles, like seeing the color scheme that some people do on some of the paint jobs is nice because you can tell that someone, either person who was setting up the paint job for what it's supposed to look like, knows what reptiles are supposed to look like. There is a bit of a misconception that reptiles are green. This looks like a very large bearded dragon, which bearded dragons tend to be more along the lines of like tan or things like that. You know, sea holes for reference, but a really, really cool mini. Again, another one of those things where, if I'm not mistaken, and this is a beast, you can wild shape into this as a druid, which is really, really cool. So yeah, well done. Don't know what I'm going to use it for. I have a party of people who really like animals, so I don't tend to put beasts and things in their way, because one, they're never going to hurt it, and two, they're going to just try to adopt it, which is even more annoying sometimes. So but still a really cool mini, great addition to the set, and great addition to my board. So that's number 31 of 48, giant lizard. And that's our third box done. Let's go to box number 4. If you're still here, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for sticking around. Comment below, let me know which mini was your favorite. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for hanging out while I open these minis and let you know what you're gonna get. Ooh, really, really cool one for the large in this set. Another beast, just to give you a little bit of a hint. But let's go through. Ooh, like that one. Go through. Oh yeah. Ooh. Well. Love this. This box is shaping up to be a pretty good box. And I think we have our first duplicate. We do. All right, so duplicate out of the way first. Our first duplicate of this brick is number 11 of 48, a druid again. Still really well done on the paint job. Like, the fact that they are consistent in the paint jobs and don't look too different is really, like, really good. Because sometimes you can get away with one looking good and then the next one doesn't look as good, but these look very similar in their paint job. Again, really well done. Glad to have another one, because they're good as just like NPCs or scatter NPCs for a game, like maybe if there's a tavern brawl or something. But yeah, first duplicate of the set, and that's 11 of 48, your druid. Oh god, what do I do next? I'll do this one next. All right, number 5 of 48, we have the Amphisbaena, which is basically just a two-headed snake with no butt. Paint job, excellent. That gripe I had with the giant lizard is non-existent on this. The green is very reminiscent of a rainforest snake or things like that. But the eyes have that reptilian slit in them, which is really nice, because it helps give kind of a bit of mystery is not the right word for it. God, I can't think right now. My brain's not working very well, but it gives that air of like hostility. That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, really well done on the paint job. I like the shading on it. The belly is just a little bit of a lighter of the same color with some tan mixed in, which is really nice. It's very typical of what a snake looks like. The mouth on the one that has its mouth open is very well done. Yeah, really good paint job. I keep seeing these everywhere now because they've been coming out in the sources and modules that have been coming out recently. But still, a really cool mini, and a common at that, at number 5 of 48, and that's the Amphisbaena. Or Amphisbaena. Still, really cool. Probably my favorite out of this box, even with the large. I love creatures like this. I'm super happy that I have another one of a different element. It's the Water Elemental Myrmidon. I love Myrmidons. I think they're really cool. I love the translucent plastic on this. It looks absolutely incredible. The paint job's really well done. The Trident definitely has the warping issue that comes with getting minis of this plastic. Putting them in boiling water, ironically being a water elemental, but putting them in boiling water for, you know, anywhere between 10 and 30 seconds will usually get that warping just right out. But yeah, really cool mini. Again, I love elementals. I love elemental myrmidons because they're basically just a little bit more beefed up with some armor and things like that and some extra special abilities. And I think it's still in the common range, so I hope I get a couple of these because, like I said, myrmidons are really, really cool, and they're definitely like they're a more intense elemental if you have some kind of elemental thing going on in your game, of giving minions to a boss that is using elementals. Using myrmidons is really, really great. So really well done. Love the paint job. Love these creatures. As number 14 of 48, the water elemental myrmidon. And that's our last medium of the set. Great, or box, last box, or great box. Sorry, can't talk. And just also ending on a great note, we've got number 30 of 48, a giant sea eel, which looks like a moray eel. Paint job is really well done. The brain coral that it's on top of, that it's kind of based for it, is really well done. The teeth are really well done. The eyes are well done. And they really captured pretty well the look of an eel in water. The kind of snaking aspect of it, but also just the color of them. They're not pure green. They've got a little bit of that kind of dry brush in the painting sense, but like they have a little bit of a brighter color on them that looks like someone dry brushed onto them in real life. But again, I think this might be another beast. So as long as your druid is high enough level, giant sea eel is definitely something I believe they can turn into. But yeah, really, really well done. Really good. Just really good mini. Again, I like the fact that they've been doing a lot of beast recently, but also like NPCs and filling out the monster manual and things like that just really, really works out for everyone in the end. And I'm really happy that WizKids has started to go that route of just giving people everything that they possibly can. So great mini, great large for that box. And number 30 of 48, the giant sea eel, which I don't know if you can say moray. I don't know if that's like a copyrighted word or whatever, but definitely looks like a moray eel to me. All right, we're halfway done. We're on to box number 5. So we're starting to get into the heavier of the boxes. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get new things, but all right. Interesting large. Ooh, a really, really cool couple of really cool mediums. Another duplicate. Interesting. All right, we'll go through the duplicate first. Second duplicate of the set. Oh no, just kidding. This is a semi-duplicate. Not really a duplicate, because it's a different number and name, and it's got a different look to it. But so actually, just kidding. Don't worry, it's not a duplicate. Number 1248, the Lokatha Hunter. So this one has a crossbow and is kind of poised in that crossbow way. Again, I hesitate to say duplicate because recently they've been doing the same creature over and over again, but with different like weapons and things like that, which again, I'm not upset at because I love having different looking minis when I'm throwing an encounter at my party so that I know that the creatures are different and I can remember which one goes where in the initiative order. Paint job similar to the other Lokatha. I like the look though, like it, even though it's not very menacing because it's just like a big fish head, it's still kind of like pointing down the sights of a crossbow at you, kind of looking at it with it held up is still pretty cool. So again, a great addition, another common, I believe, which is really nice, and not upset because while it is technically a duplicate, it's not, because it's different, and I like different looking minis for my maps and games. So it's number 12 of 48, the Lokatha Hunter. Yeah. All right, next up, we have number 9 of 48, just a reef shark, and it looks like a shark. There's not much I can say about this. The paint job is decent on it. It's got the weird eyes that mako sharks. It looks like a mako shark because of its very, very thin pointed snout. But Yeah, I mean, a really, really cool mini. Another creature that you can turn into as a druid. So again, great to have just in case. You never know. Um, but I absolutely love. I just love the look. Again, it's sometimes the simplest paint jobs end up giving me the most oomph because they're just well done, even though they're simple. And I like the look of this shark. So, not much really more I can say about it. It's a reef shark, and it's cool, and it's well painted. So, good job, whoever painted this reef shark. You did a great job. But that's number 9 of 48, a reef shark. This is the one I was interested about, which is number 15 of 48, a quipper swarm. Quippers are cool. They're kind of like piranhas. And the paint job on this is pretty decently done. All the eyes are really nice. And it's one of those things where you can just throw a single quipper at someone, but much like in real life, if you were to go into a pool with a piranha, you probably wouldn't be very scared. But if you were to be in a pool with a swarm of piranhas, you would probably be terrified, unless you're like a piranha keeper, and then yeah, you probably won't be terrified of this. But yeah, I like the swarm creatures because, again, usually when you're going to throw something like that at someone, it's going to be in a swarm. So something like this is really, really nice. And at 15, I think it's still in the common range, which means there's a possibility that you get multiples of these, which would be great. You know, your party's just like, yeah, we're swimming down a river or in a delta, and it's like, cool. 5 swarms of quippers come at you. Roll initiative. It's just really, really cool. And I love, they've been doing this thing recently where it's like that swoop. So it has like different pieces at different points, and it really helps kind of build some spatial awareness for things. So, decently done on the paint job and a really cool addition to the set. Again, I don't really have a lot of sea and coastal creatures, so I was really excited for this set to come out because it means I get more sea and coastal creatures. But that's number 15 of 48, the Quipper Swarm. All right, the large for this box. I'm usually not a big fan of these, but this is one of the ones that I technically have been okay with recently. And it's number 32 of 48, the Plesiosaur, or Plesiosaurus. Paint job's really well done. I love the spots on the back. They're well done. The kind of look on the face is really well done. Again, it's simple, but it works really, really, really well. And yeah, it's a pretty cool mini. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of dinosaurs in my games. However, with the release of Big Bees and realizing that, in my world at least, giant culture was a very big part centuries, millennia ago, when dinosaurs might have been more of a common thing to be around because there weren't a lot of humanoids that were causing too many issues, and giants tend to like to keep pets that are as big as them to help conquer things. I've been a little bit more okay with dinosaurs, but only this one. Still a really cool addition to the set I have, and now I have one. So when my party uses their Pyrite Plesiosaur, I can give them a mini to go with it. So it's number 32 of 48, Plesiosaurus. All right, on to box number 5. We're getting there. We're almost to the end. See if we need more duplicates. Oh, this one fell out of its thing as well, so I'm just going to put it off the side. Also a really cool large. Okay. All right. Okay. Go through the mediums first. It doesn't look like we got any duplicates, but let me just make sure that that's true. I think we're in the clear for no duplicates. Yeah. All right, we're going to start with this medium. which is number 2 of 48, a Sea Elf Druid, which can just be used as a Sea Elf. But the paint job is pretty well done on it. It doesn't look that bad. The pose is pretty standard, which is not bad for a common. Again, great additions to the Horde having minis like this in the sets. Sea Elves are also one that I don't think a lot of people use because they're like, nah, it's an elf that goes in the sea. That's boring. I'll be a Triton or something. But still a really, really cool subrace of humanoid. And if you haven't had a chance to look at them, they're rather interesting. But no armor, definitely just I swim all the time, surfer shorts and a stick. But not horrible, and the paint job pretty well done on that actually. And again, a really good addition to the Horde. Second most common, number 248, the Sea Elf Druid. All right, next up, we'll do this one. Number 24 of 488, a Periton. Now, I've read into these things. They're terrifying. They're basically like elk, bird, thing hybrids that usually hunt in packs, but are just absolutely terrifying. I love what they did with the wingspan, just kind of opening it up. They do, in the official art, have a little bit of like a rainbow look to them. This just looks like kind of your standard dark bird of prey look. The paint job is not horrible. It's pretty decent. The face looks pretty good. The antlers look pretty good. But yeah, really interesting mini that I don't think there are too many of these out in other sets. But they're definitely a cool creature to throw in as a lower level encounter if you're doing just a couple of them, or if you're trying to just completely mess up your party on a Skyward adventure. Throwing a few of them at them is fun. But a really, really cool model. Again, they've been doing a lot with like open wing things recently, and I love that. I love the way that those models look. So, yeah, just a really cool mini, and excited to have one in my Horde now, because I don't think I have one yet. But that's number 24 of 48, the Periton. Interesting. All right, the last medium for this box, we have number 41 of 48, the Lizard Queen. Which looks really, really cool. Paint job's really, really well done. This could be a lizard folk creature that is in service of a blue dragon. I'm sure that this has a very specific stat block, but it's really cool. I like the bone trident. The color of the scales is really nice. The fin is really well done because it's like yellow and bleeds into red. The horns are cool. The skull that it has is cool. The eyes are actually very well done for how small they are. The detail in this is just absolutely, it's really, really good. And again, it's another one of those things where being a little dirty isn't that bad of a thing, because it ends up adding to the model really, really well. So I love this creature. It could be used as an NPC. It could be used as a player character who's playing a lizard folk character. Could be used as a boss monster if you really want to. But yeah, really, really cool mini. And like I said, pretty well done on the paint job. It looks really good. They kept a really good handle on where the paint needs to go, and it ended up doing very well for them. So really cool mini. I think a rare at 41, and so that's number 41 of 48, the Lizard Queen. All right, the large for this box is number 28 of 48, a Hippogriff, which I do not have enough of. The paint job is okay. It definitely could have been a little better. It just looks like they were like, I'm just going to slightly brush some dark onto the edges of these wings, and that's it. Which kind of unfortunately takes away from the rest of it, because the rest of it's not too bad. They shaded it really nicely. They added some nice color to it. But yeah, I just would have liked to see a little bit more on the paint job for something like this. But yeah, it's still a really cool mini. Again, I don't think I have any Hippogriffs. I might have a Hippogriff like baby mini, but I don't think I have a full Hippogriff mini. And they are rather common D&D monsters, so I'm glad that I have one now. But yeah, really, really cool model. Definitely one of those ones where, you know, if you're looking for a Hippogriff, I would go get something like this, or you can buy one and paint it yourself. But if you don't have the time, ability, or resources to do that, getting something like this is not bad either. There's motion in the mini, which is really nice. So yeah, really, really good mini. And number 28 of 48, the Hippogriff. All right, on to box number 6. Sorry, box number 7. Almost done. One more box after this. And again, thank you guys so much for sticking around. I hope that you enjoy this. I buy all these minis on my own. These are my honest opinions. I'm not sponsored. I don't get, you know, these for free. I buy them because I want you guys to know what you could be getting in a set. That's a rather interesting large. Whether it's worth it or not. So, thanks for sticking around. Sorry for the sound. I appreciate it, but let's go ahead and get into it. See if we have any dupes. I think we have one in this set, or this box. Yep, it looks like one. The large for this is pretty interesting. All right, so the first duplicate, or the duplicate of this box, is number 6 of 48, Sahagin. Like I said, I was hoping I got another one of these because I don't have a lot of them, and they're not something that you're gonna just throw one of at your party unless they're low level and, you know, that's all they can handle. Paint job's still well done. You know, it's good that they're not messing up the easy stuff, which is good. But yeah, that's our duplicate of this box, number 6 of 48, the Sahagin, however you want to say it. Kind of sticking on the same line, we've got number 8 of 48, a Merfolk. Love Merfolk, love the paint job on this. The face is really, really well done. It looks like the trident's either broken, and that's meant to be, or there wasn't enough plastic to get into the mold and it just kind of missed finishing that. But still, the paint job is pretty decent for what it is. I think I have 1 or 2 of these from different sets, but honestly, just like the Sahagins or Sahagins, however you want to say it, and the fact that it's a common, it's really good to have more of these types of creatures, something that you might throw a few of at a party to make sure that it's evenly matched. So really, really well done on the paint job. Looks pretty good. I would have liked just a little bit of shading kind of on the scaled area, and maybe like a gloss to kind of give that look of scales. But other than that, pretty well done. Not too shabby, and yeah, a great addition. So that's number 8 of 48, the Merfolk. All right, last medium of this, we have number 21 of 48, a Pirate Captain, which is a tiefling. And oh boy, it is not painted the best. I don't know if I just got one of the bad ones or what, but the face is not very good. The clothes are not very good. There's too much paint on them. There's not detail in the bodice. Like, there's definitely buttons there, but they're just painted over with brown. Not the best paint job. This probably is the worst one that we've seen so far. Again, a great mini to use as an NPC. You know, if you're looking for a female looking tiefling captain, this is definitely something that you could use. The hand crossbow kind of up in the air. Yeah, just not very well painted. And it's unfortunate because it's actually a really cool mini, and I think it would look really good if it was painted well. Still, you know, even if it's not painted well, it's still something that can be used. And you can use this mini for many different things. But yeah, it's a pretty cool mini to have in the Horde now. It's number 21 of 48, the Pirate Captain. I just wish it was painted a little bit better. All right, the large for this, number 34 of 48, a Sea Lion, and not the ones that you're thinking of. Paint job's well done on this. It's like a serpentine. It almost looks like a big merfolk, like knoll or something. It's interesting for sure. I'll have to read up on the stat block of this wherever it is. But an interesting mini to say the least. I would have liked a little bit more shading on the green to kind of bring out some of the scales that it has, because it definitely has scales. The face is decent. The eyes are pretty well done. The hair is really cool, like coming down the back, and like, yeah, just an interesting model. I've never seen this before, I don't think, in my many perusings through the monster manual. So yeah, I mean, it's all right paint job wise. It's definitely not the worst. But yeah, it's pretty well done. And an interesting model. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'll find something. I will find something for it, because it doesn't have to be used for what it is. It can be something completely different, which is the fun of playing D&D. You can just make models and make stat blocks off of models that you get that you don't like the stat block for officially. So the large for this set is number 34 of 48, the Sea Lion. And an interesting one at that. All right, we are down to the last box. The heaviest box that I felt. Don't know what that's going to mean. But I guess we'll find out. Oh, interesting. That's an interesting large. Let's see what our mediums are for this set. We got any duplicates or not. Go over those very quickly. Not a technical dupe. Also, I don't think we got any duplicates in this one, which is great. All right, we'll start with the mediums and then get to the others. The last large. So number 10 of 48, we have a Sea Spawn. I do have a couple of these. I don't remember what box set they came out of, but I do have a couple of these. Pretty well done on the paint job. Doesn't look horrible. Looks actually pretty decent. You're going to see a lot of these have like green, teal, kelp, like those colorations, because of where they're found in the environment of D&D. But I mean, it's still a relatively well done model. The flow of the movement of it is really nice. It looks menacing, which is cool. And again, it's one of those things at 10 of 48 being a common, getting a few of these is not a bad thing, because it's another one of those creatures that you probably don't want to throw just one at a party. You probably want to throw a couple or a few. So a great addition to what I have already of them. And again, different looking models help you as a DM differentiate between the ones that you've been playing and where they are in the initiative order. So cool model. Can't really say much else about it. And number 10 of 48, it is the Sea Spawn. We'll do this one, the non-technical dupe. So number 4 of 48, just a turtle. The other one is a turtle druid. This one's just a turtle. Ironically, this one, in my opinion, has a better paint job, even though it's a common. Like the shell has more of a shade to it, which is really nice. The eyes are pretty well done. Turtles are hard to look menacing, because they just kind of they look like a turtle. But I love the axe. It looks really, really cool. The paint job, like I said, is very well done. And again, not technically a duplicate, but having different classes for species and races is really, really cool. Like being able to have different ones show up in different ways and use them for player characters, NPCs, bosses, goons, things of that sort is really, really, really cool. Like I said earlier, I love turtles, so having another one in the horde is not a bad thing. And at 448, like I said, another common, you might get a few of these. So 448, it is just your bog standard turtle. That's it, but it has an X. All right, last medium of the brick, we have number 22 of 48, a Scoom or a Scum, which I think are like aboleth creature like goons or something. They're terrifying. They look like deep sea monstrosities, which is kind of what they are. Paint job is pretty well done on this one. You've got that very bog standard, like not Cthulhu green, but the deep sea teal, which is probably where you'll find these at night skulking around. Just vacuous black spaces for eyes, which is absolutely terrifying but awesome. Again, another one of those minis where I don't know if one of these is threatening as much as more than one, but it's still a pretty cool mini to have. I don't have any of these because I think these were more of a recent release, if I recall correctly. But like I said, really well done on the paint job, and just absolutely terrifying. I love the movement of the tentacles and things like that. So that is number 22 of 48, the Scoom or Scum, or however you want to say it. All right, the last model of this brick and the last large is number 29 of 48, a Crab Folk. I love this model. It's so cool. I don't think I've ever seen Crab Folk used except maybe once. I think Critical Role used them in Campaign 2 at some point, but I love this model. It looks so interesting. It's just kind of like a big, bulky crab creature with cool antenna and crab eyes and things like that. Really heavy pincers. Paint job is pretty well done. Would have liked to see a little bit of a color differential on the bottom. There's not that much of a stark difference between the underbelly and the top side of a crab. I understand why they do it, because sometimes you need that kind of pop in color, but still, really well done mini. I really, really enjoy this model, and I will probably be using this at some point. I wish I had more of these, because honestly, one doesn't feel like enough. I'll have to look up the stat block though and see what they're all about. But yeah, number 29 of 48, the Crab Folk, and that is it for this set. So what we're going to do now is go through I do the worst first, the best second, and the most excited. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. Let's do the one I know right off the bat. Worst paint job is that Pirate Captain. Had such a potential for being such a great mini and just did not land at all. Wish it would have done a little bit better. That is kind of what people have grown accustomed to with Wizkids painted models. It has not been the case for every brick that I've gotten, but the bricks that have not as big minis in them, i.e. the ones that have larges in them and the ones that aren't specific creatures that have recently come out with a module, source book, or adventure, don't tend to get the same kind of love as the others. So that one's definitely the worst paint job in this set. Least useful is kind of hard, because I think that all of these could be used in some way. I'll say the least useful is probably that Sea Elf Druid, though. I don't know a lot of people who use Sea Elves as creatures that you would run into that you'd have to use a mini for. But I don't have any that I can think of in my game. So that's the only reason why I would say that is the least useful. But even still, it's still kind of useful. So it might not be the most useful or useful a lot, but it still probably will get some use out of it. All right. Most useful. I'm going to go with all of the humanoids. Yeah. You can literally never have enough humanoids. As dressing, as NPCs, as PCs, as boss monsters, whatever it is that you have them for, they are, bar none, the most useful creatures to have a lot of. Especially if you're doing like a one shot where you don't, you're not going to paint a mini for someone for a one shot, but if they're playing a specific race or a specific character, having those humanoids is going to be very good for you. And I know it's very weird for me to say the least useful was one of those humanoids and then saying that they are also most useful. That's just how it goes. Out of all of the humanoids, that Sea Elf is probably the least useful, but that's not to say that it won't get used, like I just said. So definitely the humanoids for the most useful. Best paint job. Man. Everything's really well done. But I'll have to give it to the Amphispina. It's just really well done and well painted. Like, it looks good and it looks like a snake, which is, not necessarily the hardest thing to get, but definitely is something that, like, you can mess up very easily. And every snake creature that's been coming out recently has just been absolutely insanely well done with the paint job. So I'd have to say that that's the best paint job out of the set. And for good purpose. Close second is probably the Lizard Queen, but I just think the Amphispina is well done. All right, now for the one I'm most excited to use. Look, I said it earlier and I gushed about it and I can't get away from it. It's ironically not one of the larges. It's that Water Elemental Myrmidon. I love elementals. I think they are so cool and underutilized and just an insanely well... Like, I don't think people use them enough. I think they're an underutilized creature type in any role-playing game that has creatures like that in it. And they're just more beefed up. They've got cooler aspects to them. They're more like devoted to whoever they're serving. And I like them a lot. And that's definitely one that is going to be used at some point. And I'm the most excited for. So that is Seasoned Shores. A great brick. Not too upset with it. Definitely some creatures I'm going to have to look up some of the stat blocks for, because I'm interested to see what they are able to do. But that'll do it for me here. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for sticking around. Comment below on which one you enjoyed the most. And let me know if you have any recommendations on what I should open next. If I should go to do some Pathfinder minis, or if there's, premium sets that you want me to open. I'm always going to give my honest opinion. I'm not sponsored. And even if I was, I'd probably still give my honest opinion. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I appreciate you sticking around. I hope you have a great rest of your day or whatever time you are watching this. And until next time, we're just going to keep doing this brick by brick. Thanks, guys.